Welcome to the 19th. At least I think it's the 19th. But I really, truly, honestly promise you this is the last video in my Making the Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable series. Before we begin, I will give a spoiler alert because I will be talking about game elements. And if you don't want those game elements spoiled, then this video is not for you. However, if you are like me and want to make your Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable, then welcome. In this last and final video, we will be talking about what I did to make the elements of the Searching for Lost Treasure and the Gold Rush replayable and to incorporate them in as a part of the 1901 rulebook and what I did to make those a little bit easier to play. So in the campaign, The Lost Treasure, if you get out the Sierra Madre board earlier in the game, then you have several rounds to then go searching for the lost treasure. In the campaign, the rules are that if you claim a route either into or partially into the Sierra Madre board, you can pay some money and collect a treasure map. And then you can later on, when you have enough of these treasure maps, you can then search for lost treasure. I got an interruption, so I had to pause the video, and now I've got to try and remember where I left off at. We were talking about the treasure maps. So if you're watching this video, you'll probably know, or at least hopefully know, how the whole thing works in the campaign. We tried to play it according to campaign rules in our 1901 version, but it didn't really work very well. It's kind of hard to be able to search for lost treasure when you're only going in and out of Sierra Madre. So I changed things up a little bit. The treasure maps have card A, B, C, D, E, and F. I put them on a piece of paper and I made a photocopy, and I made about 10 copies of each letter on cardstock, and you can shuffle them like a regular card deck. Then how I changed up the rule is I changed it that anytime you go into a large city, and you're going to have large city stickers all throughout your game board. So anytime you go into a large city, then you can, and you have to make the destination into the large city. When you do that, you can then pay $2, and it's anywhere on the board. You can pay $2 and you can get a treasure map. In the Sierra Madre region, you only have to pay $1. The only problem with that is you're going to get duplicate cards, and you're going to end up spending a lot of money just to try and get an A, B, C, D, E, and F. So the workaround I came for that one is that you can, on your turn, if you want to, if you've gone into a large city, you can either pay $2 to get a map, or you can pay $1 to exchange the map. But you're still using up a lot of money. That worked really well, and we were able to then search for lost treasure. But the only problem is you're still spending a lot of money on getting the treasure maps. So I also set the rule that at the end of the game, you can sell back any unused treasure maps for $1, and that seems to work very well. Then what I did for the Searching for the Lost Treasure is I did make a copy. I taped it together. I didn't use double-sided tape because your flip-up stuff. I just put some tape on and taped it over. I used my nifty little cutting tool, and I cut them out, and I made a flip. I also increased the prices, and I randomized them. Then for the Cascadia, the Gold Rush element of the game, I did the same thing with those cards. I made copies, and then I also made them flip up, and you can add those elements then into your game. Also, what we did for the Company Town stickers, I kept those in as an element of the game in that at the beginning of the game, each person in turn gets to put each of their 6, one at a time, their company towns on the board, and then you play throughout the game with everybody collecting money from everybody else. It gets wild, it gets crazy, it's fun. But that's another element that I added in where we could keep the company town element. Then all you have to do is, once you're done playing the campaign, you take your gray little magnet stickers and you add them to the board, and then you play your 1901 game, adding whatever rules in that you want, changing whatever rules in whichever way you want. We've also played it before where we cleared off all of the track stickers and we played it just like the campaign. So you can have many options on how you want to change things up and to do things and make them fun for your family and whatever rules you want. And you can add and keep whatever rules that you wish. You can always change up, and if you find any more interesting ways of making rules for the treasure hunt, I'd be interested in hearing, but that's just what I did, and it seems to be working well, and we're enjoying it, and it makes this element of the game more playable for when you're just playing the 1901. Anyways, that is going to wrap up everything. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope you've enjoyed these video series. I've had fun making them. It's been weird and awkward because, like I said, I've never done this before, and I'm not going to even try to edit these because I'm a Gen X troglodyte. Me and technology don't agree very well. So if all you get out of this is a good laugh, then I'm happy, and that's great. But thank you for joining me, and see you later.